Hey guys, it's John Tom from Total Brohammer, and as you can see, we got some more chaos. Alright, so today the name of the game is, we're going to talk about Sarthoreal, and we're going to talk about Exalted heroes. So, in this build, I have two Exalted heroes here. As you can see, they have Deadly Onslaught, Foe Seeker, and they also have, let me get right here, Mark of Cain, which effectively gives them Frenzy if their leadership is above 50%, so that's pretty cool. For my infantry corps, I have 3 Chaos Warriors. For my anti-large here, I've got some Chaos Warhounds with Poison and the Summoners of Rage. Up in the front, I have 4 Marauder Horsemen. My opponent will be the Dark Elves today, and over here on their right flank, they have 1, 2, 3 Dark Riders repeater crossbows, which will be very good at taking out things like Shaggus and anything heavily armored. Thankfully, I brought Chaos Warriors, who actually have silver shields, so that's going to give them a 55% missile resistance from the front, so that's pretty good. They are going to be teeing off on my Marauder Horsemen, and I'm glad I brought Marauder Horsemen because these guys are a good counter to the Dark Riders. They can chase them down and throw spears while moving, and they don't have to be facing front, but since he has these Cold One Knights over here defending them, I just can't charge in melee. I'm going to be bringing Sarthoreal over here in a moment to try and soak up some arrows, as he has that 60% missile resistance that we all know and love. Alright, so, as I mentioned, he has some Cold Ones protecting them here. He has a Dreadlord with Sword and Shield, and unlike most generic Lords, this guy is actually pretty good for the High Elves and the Dark Elves. As you can see here on this Cold One Knight, he has 68 speed, 70 melee attack. So this guy is just a beast, and he's pretty cheap too. So for some reason, I guess it makes sense. The Elven standard Lords have jack stats. This guy even has armor piercing on his Cold One. Not to mention, he has murderous prowess, Shield of Gron, minus 12 weapon damage around him, and he also buffs his own guys. So this guy is a pretty inexpensive and effective unit. He only has 3,500 health though. Over here we have a Sorceress of Beast. Looks like he has Curse of Enra here, and what is that? And Pans and Patrol Belt. He has a heavy core here of Harkneth Executioners, so these will be very good against pretty much any infantry I bring, all the way up to Chosen. Chosen will beat them one-on-one, Chosen with great weapons that is, but these are the best guys you can get to counter them. He also is backing them up with a group of Blackguard and Nagaron for that anti-large AP, and a group of Witch Elves so that you can rampage and pin down the enemy. They are also good at killing lightly armored infantry. So, let's go ahead and kick it into gear here. I put it on pause for quite a while there because this is a very fast and micro-intensive game. So I'm going to be moving out with my Chaos Warriors pretty soon here, knowing that they have silver shields, and if he wants to do a skirmishing phase, I'm going to need them over here. Plus it will not hurt. I definitely want to have their support in case he wants to charge with his cavalry or whatnot. Over here he's getting a little bit adventurous. I'm going to try to get some skirmishing power. The problem with my groups is my guys get pretty bunched up here. Now we're going to be retreating here. I'm going to pop a Plague of Rust. I thought I overcasted it, but I guess I didn't. That was definitely an accident. It's going to lower their armor by 60. I meant to lower it down to 30, but it's still going to help us in picking them off here. So as you can see, I'm going to be pulling through my lines here. I'm pulling the Chaos Warhounds with Poisons and Summoners of Rage back over here. These guys pulled back, so I am on a retreat in kind. As you can see, I have my Exalted heroes just flying around. Sarthoreal's going all over the place. Here comes the Cold One Knights. I'm going to charge in with my Hounds and the Summoners of Rage and pull back my Marauder Horsemen. I really need to keep them alive. They are now going after Sarthoreal, so these guys were kind of a waste here. So they came in to hit my Hounds, and they pretty much got overextended and completely surrounded. As you can see, he's got some Witch Elves over here. I was able to get some Chaos Warriors. This is a good trade for the Chaos Warriors as they are heavily armored, and the Witch Elves are not too great against heavy armor. Not to mention they have pretty good stats themselves. As you can see, he's shooting over my lines at Sarthoreal, looks like right now. That might be some auto fire. That's definitely not who you want to shoot at here. Unfortunately for me, I had to pull back with these guys because I don't want to get too close to these Witch Elves. And I'm sorry to pause it so much here, guys, but as you can see, he's trying to move. I'm trying to hold his army out with these Chaos Warriors. As you can see, I'm even running away right now to try and hold them up further. Gonna send Sarthoreal in here for some cycle charging. I'm momentarily going to have these Exalted heroes chase these guys, but then realize that that's a bad trade for me, as they cost 1,607, and these guys cost only 650. As you can see, I'm throwing my javelins into the lightly armored Witch Elves, so that should be pretty good there, and chasing them with these tanky Chaos Warriors. Some javelins actually got into the Cold One Knights, causing them to rampage, and now they are going to meet their doom to all this fire here. as you can see, I have the Summoners of Rage and the Hounds just going around, cycle charging all over the place, getting a good charge on these Organized Executioners, applying some poison. Sarthoreal is doing the same, just charging all over the place. Popping Transmutation of Lead upgrade to help my Chaos Warriors here survive. As you can see, they only have 12 melee attack with that on. But we're just going to keep on charging around here. I haven't done too much with my Exalted heroes. I'm having a little bit of trouble finding them a home, but I see that he's isolated his lord, so guess who's on the hunt here? And that'll be pretty good for us. So we got the Witch Elves finally broken here. We're going to start concentrating on some of these Dark Riders. And, oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. So we got this Dreadlord coming in like a badass. I mean, he really does look like an edgelord, does he not? But here come the Manticores here, so they are not going to give him a good time. Oh yeah, they're cleaning his clock, as it were. Alright, but we are breaking through the front line. We were able to get some good fire on these Dark Riders, now they're retreating. We need to get on these guys, however, his infantry is just bowling over us. The only, my Chaos Warriors are not made for fighting armor-piercing anti-infantry but they are doing a really good job at lasting a long time, so I'm really proud of them for that. If you can be proud of a, video game player character. As you can see with that charge, my Manticore, my Exalted heroes are absolutely destroying this Dreadlord. So that's pretty good for me. Now I'm going to try to clump up all his enemies and wait for a good opportunity to use these Summoners of Rage's, what's it called there? You know, their lightning ability, their chain lightning. I'm also going to try to pull them out of range of all the Dark Riders with the repeater crossbows. I'm going to try to finish off these Cold One Knights, going to turn them around, take care of it. As you can see, it's going off right here, and it is looking mighty beautiful, just absolutely electrifying some of these Blackguard and Nagron and Hargonath Executioners. So beautiful game as Murderous Prowess goes off, and we are going to get back into it here. Alright, so I'm trying to get these guys to stay alive. I really need them to. As you can see, their morale drops very quickly when they get into melee combat. Unfortunately for me, all his Dark Riders here are getting some good fire on them, and Cold One Knights, for some reason, they just do not rout. They just do not rout. But pretty much at this point, all my infantry is dead. We have the two Exalted heroes who did really good damage against his lord. I should have kept one on him, but I wasn't paying attention. I actually assumed that they killed him, which was not a good assumption to make. So that was definitely a mistake on my part. Now, Sarthoreal is being chased by some Witch Elves, which is definitely not good for me. I'm going to run in here with my Exalted hero and hopefully not get rampaged, but we'll see how that goes. I'm going to do a quick rear charge with the Summoners of Rage here, which should be pretty strong. As you can see, I'm chasing his Sorceress of Beast with the other Exalted hero, and the Marauder Horsemen are still trying to take care of all these Dark Riders as they are being a thorn in my side. Unfortunately for me, I was able to terrify off the Witch Elves, which was my goal, but my Exalted hero is dying very fast against all this armor piercing here, and the anti-large of the Blackguard and Nagron. Although that's mostly Hargonath teachers there, he's not doing too good there. And that's the thing about Manticores, they're very squishy, even the Exalted heroes. So I'm going to show you this game and another game of me using double Manticore and Sarthoreal, but they don't seem to be all that great. And we're just going to go ahead and stop here and take a quick look at their stats and talk about them for just a moment here. So where's our other Manticore? I guess we'll just go to this one over here. So let's see what they have here. The thing about the Exalted hero is he has decent melee attack, although not right now because he's debuffed with the Curse of Anna here. But his melee defense is really low. His armor isn't the best, and he does not have armor piercing damage. So he's not very good on the defensive, and he is not very good against armor. So a lot of downsides for him, even though he's 1607. He can fly though, so there are some good things about him. But I'll go ahead and already tell y'all, in case y'all don't want to watch the rest of this video, that I do not suggest bringing Exalted heroes in very many matchups. There's just more cost-effective units. If I brought a unit of Chaos Knights, I could deal so much more damage. So much more damage. Alright, but as you can see, we're still having the skirmish fight. We've been doing this the entire match. It's been assholes to try to keep my Marauder Horsemen alive now. But now we have the Summoners of Rage and Sarthoreal just cycle charging all over the place. Not staying in one place too long, as that will actually not be good for them. We need our cycle charging to be effective here. Bringing in some more Chaos Warriors, and I'm finally just going to send all my Marauder Horsemen into melee and get these guys running. Now, it's important that you do that that you do that when Murderous Prowess is not going off. Otherwise, these Dark Riders may actually defeat your Marauder Horsemen, even if you outnumber them in melee combat. So as you can see, the Exalted heroes coming over here to finish off the Dreadlord with sword and shield, and we're just going to keep on cycle charging around. So in this case, it works. My opponent had a decent build, I gotta say. Pretty wide, a lot of mobility. I liked his build quite a lot, actually. It was a good build, but we were able to do it with the double Exalted hero here, so that was pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm going to charge small. And that'll probably be it for the Dark Elves here. As we take down their caster, we'll just watch her last stand here. Yeah, I would not want to be fighting all this, and she is going to run away until she bumps him. Oh, sorry, sir. Let me be on my way. They both don't want anything to do with each other. Alright, but let's look at the in-game breakdown, then we'll move on to Game 2. So the Exalted heroes, not using them the best in this one, to admit. But I wanted to show this one because it was a fun game. It was a tough one. I mean, Marauder Horsemen. This isn't a video about Marauder Horsemen, but man, these guys are good. And I gotta say, the Chaos Warriors performed very admirably too. Everyone pulled their weight here. No one slacked off. Even if the Chaos Warriors didn't get many kills, they held out the enemy for a long time. And that's all I needed. Let's go ahead and load up Game 2. Yes, do it. Do it. So, we're bringing Sarthoreal and double Exalted hero again. A very similar build. This time I only have Hounds though. No Summoners of Rage, but we're fighting the Beastmen. And we have a little bit wider infantry corps. A little bit... it's not really lower tier. It's actually better than the last one. Alright, so... you just saw the armies here. Let me go over it a little bit more in depth. We got the 4 Marauder Horsemasters, same squad as before. 3 Chaos Marauders, 2 Chaos Warhounds with poison, just to defend my Chaos Marauders here. And we also got some halberds and 2 great weapons back here. Chaos Warrior variety. My opponent has a front line of Gore Hordes, 3 Ungor Spearmen. He's actually got a Beast Lord, so a lot of regular Lords today. Interesting. And that's a good thing for us, for the Exalted heroes, because, like I said, I don't think they're that great, to be quite honest. So a lot of weak things to get a lot of skirmishing on. These are actually the variant without shields. He's going to be pulling back his Synagores with throwing axes. They have the less range than us, and I think that's a good idea since we outnumber them so heavily. Back here, he's actually got 2 Razorgore Herd. Don't suggest bringing these guys. They don't seem to really perform. He's also got some Chaos Warhounds with poison on this flank. He's got some over here, too. And he has 2 Minotaurs with great weapons. For his magic, he has Enfleeing Foe and the Penundral Pendulum. Let's go ahead and get into gear here. So seeing that there's nothing stopping me from getting a lot of free damage, we're just gonna have a field day here. We're just going to what are these guys doing? Look at that. With no attack orders, no melee attack orders at all, they just ran up in there. That's gotta be a bug. Oh well, that's okay. As you can see, I'm having Sarthoreal come over here, just distract my opponent, keep him honest. Make sure that his throwing axes are concentrated on Sarthoreal, just to waste a little bit of ammo. As you can see, I'm pulling back here. I want to get a little bit more skirmish before I get in melee, so I'm actually going to pull back my infantry to a place where I'm more squared up with the Beastmen player here. But yeah, the skirmish cav here. We got an enfeebling a Penundral Pendulum. I'm going to say that was probably a misguessed. We're going to go ahead and keep on pulling back here. Leave my hounds up here. Totally forgot about them for a moment. As you can see, my Exalted heroes saw no reason not to get some free damage here, so we're going to just do charge and get out of there. As you can see, the Razorgore Herd have gotten on my Chaos Warriors with great weapon. That's good for my opponent. That's exactly where he wants them. Moving my halberds up this way against the Minotaurs with great weapons. And I'm going to move Sarthoreal out the Everwatcher over this way with my Exalted heroes, just to muck up all these Minotaurs on the Chaos Marauders. And here come my Javelins, are now throwing into the Minotaurs, and they're stuck up on armor piercing and anti-large, so they are wisely going to retreat. So good on my opponent for doing that. Also very wise of him, he has a group of Chaos Warhounds with poison coming to get my Marauder Horsemen. But if you'll remember, I also brought 2 groups. So I blocked his group over here, and I blocked his group over here. These guys are actually going to lose, and I'm not sure why that is. Pretty sure his guys are even tighter than mine, so that is surprising. Anyway, So, I'm going to have to stop my cat from overextending here in a moment. Hopefully I do. And I'm just going to do tactical strikes wherever I can. Sphere and terror bombs, because these are 3 terror-causing units. These guys do cause terror, right? Yeah, they do. And wherever he reacts with his minotaurs, I'm then going to pull out, then throw my javelins at him. So you can see that exact thing happening right now. That's just going to be more damage for his minotaurs, and we actually have them to 11 melee attack right now. So even if we do dive on them with that overcasted, what's that thing called? Transmutation of lead, they're not going to be able to do all that much damage. As you can see here, I had to have these Exalted heroes come help out these Chaos Warhounds with poison. I guess the RNG just favored my enemy there, and we won on that side. So over here, we're winning the front line pretty convincingly. He's keeping his important units in the back here, and they're not really able to find a place to support. He's using his Angel Pendulum right here. They're too spread out to really be good for that. So now we're going to go after this Gaster here, but I don't know. I think I might actually take the charge on this one because I feel like I have it in the bag here. Nope, I don't feel like I have it in the bag yet because I am indeed retreating. He's going right into all my infantry. We're going to throw more javelins at him. He's going to take more damage from the infantry around him. My hounds are coming back here. So a lot of cool stuff here as my... Let's get a little bit of action of the Manticores in here as they just have their way with things. You never see these Manticores because they rampage. These guys don't rampage, do they? I don't think they do. Yeah, they don't have rampage, so that's good. If they did, then they would be completely useless. Alright, but now he's got his Minotaurs with great weapons, having spears chucked at them as well as fighting halberds, so my opponent is just not, this entire game, my opponent has been unable to get the engagements that he needs. I've denied every single engagement that he wanted, which made a game that could have been fairly even based on army composition. Well, actually I won't say that. My opponent's army composition, I'm going to say, wasn't the greatest. You don't need all... Gore herds are just not good against chaos. They're good against chaos marauders, and that's the only thing they're good against, so... You shouldn't bring them. You're going to want Bestigor. Minotaurs with great weapons can be pretty good, especially since Chaos has a limited variety of ranged units, and they are fairly short range. And you have your own ranged units that can keep them away. Well, that's pretty good. Not to mention cheap infantry. He's going to come after Sarthoreal the Everwatcher. I'm fine with that. Sarthoreal can take these Synagores, and he can take the axes too. Sarthoreal does not give a fuck. Alright, but at this point, army losses are going to hit, and this was a very convincing victory. Alright, so I thought that one was pretty fun. Let's go ahead and look at the breakdown here. So, Sarthoreal is probably the best lord on the Chaos roster, and we'll go ahead and... So, as you see, our Marauder Horsemen doing pretty good, Chaos Warhounds, everyone did their job, basically. And all worked out pretty much perfectly. Anyway, let's go back here, and we're going to go take a look at Sarthoreal and the Exalted hero in death. So, Sarthoreal the Everwatcher. Why do I think this guy is one of the best lords, the best lord on the Chaos roster? Well, let's start. First, he has 30 armor, so that is a downside of him. He does not have a lot of armor, and he does not have a lot of armor piercing. The good things about him, he's fast, 60 speed, he's unbreakable, 100 leadership. Magic damage, 40 melee defense, pretty good. 40 charge bonus, eh. Now let's go down here. He also has terror. Most importantly, he has 60% missile resistance. He also has 25% magic resistance. And just so y'all know, if the missiles are magic, then these do stack. So you will get 85% resistance if magic missiles are hitting you. Like I said, he's got terror and courage. He's also got Lore of Metal here. So he's got metal shifting, 13 seconds of plus 10% armor piercing damage and weapon damage. Pretty good, especially if you're not going down the funnel transmutation route. Searing Doom can be pretty good for combat spots. Plague of Rust, very good spell. Gehenna's Golden Hounds, definitely skip on this one, guys. Glittering Robe, I suggest skipping on this one too. Final Transmutation, when you bring this, only overcast it and make it the only spell that you bring. most of the time at least. I just saw a replay where Gabo actually used a Plague of Rust, then a undercasted Final Transmutation and killed 16 Dragon Princes. If you do that, you have to do it while they're in combat though, so that models will actually die. And we also have Transmutation of Lead, which is a very good long-lasting buff, and you can even overcast it to minus 50% weapon damage. He also now has Arcane Conduit, which he did not have before, and he's got the fast recharging buff standard die. So a lot like about Sarthoreal, his animations are pretty crazy. He can go very fast, almost like he is gliding along the ground, and he's very slippery. He's not easy to kill, and he has some pretty good magic, and he's very versatile. Now back to the Exalted hero. Like I said, this guy I don't think is that great. I mean, I didn't even have all his abilities on him. He's already 1607. With his ability, he is 1749. However, this build ability is interesting as it lasts 50 seconds, buffs him, and gives some fire damage. So maybe, I actually didn't know that, so maybe a secret weapon against some vampires that you can try? I'm not sure. It might not. Maybe, that's pretty interesting. What if you did this? You had this guy up in the air, you give him Final Transmutation, and then you try to counter the air squad of the vampires with fire, and if you can get them to bunch up, Final Transmutation. That could be pretty strong, even though that's most of your army right there. Anyway guys, that's going to be all for this one. This is Jonathan for Total Brohammer, signing out.